up, y'all? Welcome back to Not Gonna Lie. It's your boy Fritz.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dapper Dan. Welcome to the latest and soon to be the greatest podcast, man.
As you can see,
I'm not clapping no more.
Yeah, he's not clapping no more, so it's over.
Y'all slandered me for it, so I'm just not gonna do.
I didn't like it.
It was smooth.
I see. Thank you.
So as you can see, we have another fella with us. It's a special guest. It's a dear friend of mine.
Very close friend to the show as well.
Known him since 2009. That's a long time.
Yeah, that's a long time, man.
This is my man's Efrain. What's the nicknames? What they call you on the streets?
They call you E. They call you Fritz on here, but they call me E in the streets. But thank y'all for having me. You know, it's a pleasure. I watch the show religiously. Love what y'all doing. So
appreciate
keep it
man.
going, man.
Gracias, sir.
And disclaimer: this episode here is gonna be real football based. That's what we're really gonna touch on. And Efrain is a former football player himself. He was a superstar in Pee Wee football.
Nah. Back in the old days, yeah, for sure, man. But
what was your position?
Defensive end. You know, I was smaller back then. Now I can't do that. But back then I was a little rough rider. But
you was doing your thing. Man. Yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna get right into it. Let's
get it started, man.
Talk about the national championship game that transpired this past Monday.
I just want to say, last episode I talked about the 75%. Remember, I'm 75% wrong.
You did.
I finally was right.
You was right.
I'm not gonna lie, I was scared though, because I was like, damn, if I get this one wrong, it might go up to like 80. And like, if I'm 80% wrong, that's OD. Like,
now you can't even predict that.
Yeah, now I might not even know sports.
Yeah, that would be super tough.
So I mean, we all three of us predicted that LSU was gonna win.
Yeah, LSU was just on a tear, bro. It was averaging 50 points a game this year. I think I saw something that they scored 761 points this season, which is the most since 1939, I believe.
I don't even think in 1939 they should be scoring that much, but regardless, that's a mad points, bro. Because football that don't go that high. Like it's not like it's basketball. Like you score hundreds a game. Like you scoring like some games end at like 24. Like
I remember one time, it was in high school. The Saints scored like 66, and you was wilding because they scored a college basketball game.
That was a lot of points, bro.
Yeah, son, and LSU did that on the regular, so they just kept it going.
They was definitely on the tear. My son Joe Burrow, he's a different breed.
That's why I said I picked him. I was like, yo, he's just a different guy, bro. Like.
But that was a cool matchup. You know, Trevor Lawrence and Joe. You know, it's gonna be the first round pick for this year, and pretty sure it's gonna be the first round pick next year for Trevor Lawrence. So it was cool to see.
It's just tough that was Trevor Lawrence's first loss.
First loss since high school.
Since high school, bro.
Like
sometimes
junior year.
Sometimes you need that though.
I feel that though. I feel that.
You can't imagine he went to the NFL just never losing.
He was gonna get a rude awakening regardless.
Yeah, so I mean it's better now than next year in the NFL. So,
but if I'm not mistaken, they have like the top. Motherfucking
like recruiting class.
Yeah.
So and the fact that they have a lot of stars on their team that were juniors and freshmen. I'm not juniors and freshmen. Sophomores and freshmen. So they're gonna be back. You know, so it's gonna be a scary team.
They'll probably be as good as they were next year. Honestly.
Yeah, ESPN already got them as early favorites to win next year. So
I mean, and the man he led the team to a championship his freshman year. I'm pretty sure. He'll probably
I can see the 3-time going to championship.
But the game itself, for the people who didn't watch, it was extremely interesting to watch.
Yeah, it was a really great game.
Clemson was actually up. They were locking up LSU. Like, they kept having LSU basically do just the 3 and outs. Like, I think it was like 3 straight times or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I think they had like an 11-point lead. And then after that, LSU just went off.
Now, I knew LSU was going to take a minute to get their feet wet. Because, like, I knew Clemson was going to come out strong, but I knew LSU was, like Joe Burrow, he just poised himself. Because, like, if you just watch his interviews and stuff, he's a real confident dude. Like, he's not some dude that's, like, being like, oh, I don't know, we'll see what we have to get out there. He's like, nah, like, it smells like a championship ring to me. Like, he's that type of dude.
And they wrote this. They said that this was going to happen. They knew that it was going to be in the Mercedes Dome. You know, with Joe coming in as a transfer, the team that they had, they were like, we're going to be the national champions. And they actually made it happen. So it's a cool story, man.
Definitely.
You know, it just sucks that he's gonna have to go to the Cincinnati Bengals after this.
That'd be the tough part. Like you come from all this greatness just to go get drafted and like lose.
The Bengals, bro. How many wins you think he's gonna lead them to?
5.
I don't think they as bad as they like. I think they went 2-14 this year.
Yeah.
I don't think they that bad. I think just AJ Green wasn't there. Like a lot of things had to break the wrong way for it to be 2-14. So I could see him winning 6-7 games off rip, but I don't.
Nigga said you said 4, 5.
Said 5.
I don't think he like the super leader of the franchise though. Like Cam Newton did it, and like back at Auburn, he came from Florida. Joe Burrow came from Ohio State, was a transfer, and like I just don't see a 1 year. Like I gotta see more.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see more.
I feel you.
Like I know he broke crazy records, but I gotta see more than just 1 year in college. Like
No, I hear you.
I feel your sentiments though. I definitely agree with that.
And it's like his first year in LSU wasn't nothing too crazy, and then when he got the coaches the
Coach O.
No, the quarterback,
Joe Brady.
Yeah, Joe Brady.
Yeah.
Once they got him, in the fold, that's when
I
everything,
saw
like, he
the
unlocked.
graphic today. Like last year they scored like 20 something points a game. Now it's at 49. So
Like he unlocked them like on some next year.
Yeah,
So
but the receivers on LSU was crazy too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like,
that's a fact.
those are all
Jamar Chase had what 14 for 221 and
two
touchdowns.
Yeah,
like
something like that.
bro.
crazy,
It
son.
was tough, but I mean, we all three of us again. Another prediction that we had was the Ravens going to the Super
Oh
Bowl,
man.
and unfortunately, things didn't go their way. So I just want to get y'all comments on how y'all felt, with the season.
Let's
ending
let our
the way
guests
it
go
did.
first. Feel me? How you feeling?
That really broke my heart because I feel like all of us as a nation was definitely rooting for Lamar. Like he was. I know Patrick Mahomes, a minority quarterback, but Lamar really he from the hood. Like he not like we was really rooting for him, and for him to come out like that, and I think it was more so the layoff because he was off for 3 weeks before playing that.
Mm-hmm.
And his game was all about rhythm, like timing, hitting the tight ends,
Mm-hmm.
running. So when you get 3 weeks off from playing football
They gotta
like
throw you
that,
off a little.
that throws you off OD. So you saw it. They came out completely sleeping. Titans hit them 2 straight times. It was up 14-0
They
before
was
you even.
locking them up.
So,
bro.
I mean, and the Titans, low key, they built to beat a team like all their linebackers is fast, all their safeties is fast. They hit hard, so you could see Lamar was rattled.
He definitely was.
And the thing is, if you look at it on paper, he didn't have that bad of a game on paper. You
He
feel me?
didn't.
Like he still had over 100 yards rushing. He had over 300 yards passing. I think that was the first QB in postseason history to do so.
He was one.
But if you watch the game and you see the tape, he missed some throws, definitely. And I think this is definitely going to be a learning experience for Lamar because last season they threw him out there. He had barely any experience starting at all, and they just threw him out there.
Yeah.
And then this year it's like, all right, now it's my game. And he sees what it takes now, like to get to the next level. Like it takes extreme preparation. You got to make every throw count. You can't just be out here, like if you can't, like sometimes in the season, like he throw a ball behind the receiver, they get it though. But like in the playoffs, when you're playing that tight of coverage and like every throw, every play really matters.
Yeah, competition gets better. So.
Yeah, exactly. Every play
precise.
really matters.
The thing that, even though I wanted the Ravens to win just off the strength of like just being a Lamar Jackson fan, just the scrutiny that he got or is getting because he lost was the main reason why I wanted them to win. Because he has so many haters, my nigga. Like, so many haters. So many people want to see him lose. Don't want to see him succeed because he's a black running quarterback. They don't think that he's he's capable of, sustaining this. So he's our next RG3. Like he's like the people just discredit him or disrespect him and whatnot. And I feel like if this was like Andrew Luck per se, that lost 2 years in a row in the divisional round, people wouldn't be attacking him the way they attack Lamar.
I also think it's tough, like the way he lost, because he was really like they
Unstoppable.
destroyed everyone.
Yeah.
They rolled everyone in the regular season. 14-2, the best record in the league. Like you're the number 1 seed, and you come out so flat against the 6th seed. The Titans barely made it. Like they was 2-4 before they inserted Ryan Tannehill into the into the starting role. So it's like you come out flat against a team that most people don't even think should be here. You the Baltimore Ravens. I expected more. Like
because the thing is, like, it's not like they was winning this season like just coasting. Like they was handedly winning their games. Like it wasn't like they was sucking the life out of like the teams they were playing. Like it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying. So for them to come out flat and then lose, but I feel like that also speaks to the greatness of just how the coach Mike Vrabel, he just prepared that team. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, they're kind of built to be the team that operates in a way like that. And then that boy Derrick Henry, just is just a monster.
Nigga, he even threw for a touchdown.
I think it's more a testament to like just how beautiful the game of football is, like for a second, because in basketball you get 7 games in the postseason. Most of the time, the best team is going to win
4 out of 7.
It's one game in the NFL postseason, so you come out flat, it's over. You go home.
But that brings me to the thing that you brought up to my attention about the wild card, like. With the people winning their conferences, the first and second seed, the first and second seed, they get the bye week, and you rose the question of, is that like a negative or a positive?
Right. Because my thing was basically like, obviously, like I feel like the Ravens could have benefited from playing, like not being in the wild card, but like playing, like especially Lamar Jackson himself, who didn't play week 17.
Mm-hmm.
They could have benefited from like that continuity of playing the week after. You know what I'm saying? So that 2-week gap, or grace period, or whatever you want to call it, I think that hurt him because he's like, he hadn't played for real in a minute. Like, you know what I'm saying? It threw him off a little bit. And I just was thinking to myself, like, is it more helpful or hurtful for some teams to really, sit back on their ass for, wait until the divisional round instead of, playing another game?
I think the bye isn't necessarily the problem. I think not playing week 17 is the problem. Because a bye, I mean, you hear it all the time, like, these guys, week 17 weeks in the regular season, these guys' bodies is hurt. Like, they take punishment. So I think a bye is kind of good to rest your body for a week, but then you don't play week 17. So now it's just like your rhythm off, your timing off. Like,
I think it also depends on the team. Like you said, the Ravens are a team that's like, they're built off rhythm and stuff like that. So and timing and what have you. But I guess it's a positive and it's a negative.
Yeah, because I mean, don't get me wrong, you can still like get people time to heal from injuries and stuff like that. Obviously, there's benefits to resting, but just in terms of like continuity and just being in game shape and speed. Because I mean, 2 weeks off is a decent amount of time in like football time. You feel me? Football is a short.
And it's not even only 2 weeks, because it's like you play a Sunday and then you got the whole week, and then like the whole week before the following Sunday, so it's kind of like 3 weeks almost. Like it's a long time. Like,
damn near.
Exactly.
But I mean, it also depends on the team that you run into as well. Like you don't run into a Tennessee Titans team. Like they're similar in a sense to me to the Giants, not like with the defense, because the Giants defense was different, but like in a sense of how hot we were going into the playoffs and how dominant we were going into the playoffs. Like you said, they were 2-4 before they inserted Ryan Tannehill. 7-3 afterwards. So it's like they're not necessarily a 9-7 team,
like
so they ran into a team that would probably been like the 3rd seed in the AFC. Like they were the best offense. Like,
he had like the best passer rating, I think, since like
Lord knows.
Like,
Lord knows how long.
He was cooking.
But to switch gears on somebody that wasn't playing during this the last week was Julian Edelman, receiver for the Patriots.
I'm getting busy.
He got arrested for basically damaging somebody's car, jumping on it and whatnot.
The funniest part about this is that he was out with like Paul Pierce.
Facts.
It
was Paul Pierce or somebody else, another Boston.
Nothing good ever happens when you go out with Paul Pierce
bro.
at night. Nothing.
Like, why you out with Paul Pierce?
Nthing. Why you doing that?
Why Paul Pierce gonna post a picture before he got caught for the vandalism? It's like Boston shit or something.
Facts. It was one other person. I forgot who the person was. Fredo put the picture up, but
bro.
Yo, why? Just a second. Why do rich niggas be doing this shit?
I don't know.
Like, you got so much money. Why you damaging people's cars?
Niggas
like,
be bored, I guess.
Oh my god.
And it's like he got that white privilege.
That's what I'm saying.
He probably used to do.
And he was dating a Victoria's Secret model. Not to get into man's personal life, but like, go home, bro. Like,
go eat a man. Nah, but the reason why I wanted to bring that up is like how I feel like the media would have reacted very, very differently if this man was black or Hispanic. So I feel
like this is already out the paper already, like out the off the media
circuit.
We're
not talking about this.
Nobody talking about this no more.
God forbid this was Odell. Oh my God,
they would have been dragging it
all off season.
Would have been like
all 2020, nigga.
Yeah,
all season. We would have been calling for this man to be fired. Like the Browns would have cut him. Like
the Browns' dad ass probably would have cut Odell for some shit like that. And I just wanted to bring that up because it just bothers me that it's that racial line. Like if they get that pass for doing things like that.
You know what I'm saying? More than likely, this is probably gonna be settled out of court or whatever the case may be.
Probably not. The courts probably even already forgot about it. Like, and he a patriot. Like this regular kind of patriot behavior now.
The best receiver at that, for the team.
And he old too. Like he like 30 now.
Yeah,
like
30,
you would expect this from maybe a 21, 22-year-old. Not really.
Yeah,
this guy been famous forever.
He's also white, so I mean, this is how to get down.
I don't want to gloss over that fact because I feel like that is the biggest component. Like, had this been a minority wide receiver, he'd have been called a diva. Y'all seen what's going on with Antonio Brown. So imagine I was Antonio Brown, man.
We got to talk about Antonio Brown since you brought him up.
I don't say his name on here, but go ahead.
It's not, so y'all gotta.
The man is a nutcase.
Nah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Son needs to have like his friends, like whoever's his friends need to step up and be like, yo, bro, you need help. Like that's what's happening in this case. His friends are letting him run wild and loose, probably because he got money. But like, somebody got to step and be like, yo, you're wild. And like what I saw on what was it, the IG Live or whatever it was? I don't know.
He was bashing the police. Like,
yeah, I think that was his shorty that was taking his kid, I guess, or whatever.
It was crazy,
and it looked nuts.
Personally, I did not watch the video, so y'all gotta let me know what happened.
All right, so basically, he's like at the steps of his house, like the front door, and from what I see from the video, basically, it seemed like his son was being taken away from him by the mother, I guess. I don't know the circumstances behind it.
I don't think we got context.
Yeah.
But the more alarming part was him just like, excuse my language on here, but he's all like, fuck the police. Like, y'all crackers don't want nothing to do with me. Like,
there was black police there too. It was everybody crackers.
He was like, yo, fuck y'all. Like but he went on, like, it was a 2-minute tirade.
Yeah, like, and there's all the same curse words back to back
on IG Live. Like, and this is someone who wants to get back in the NFL.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
It don't make no sense.
It's not gonna sell the single.
It's not a whole lot of money. That shit is trash.
Yo, what I think what I think is being so downplayed?
Right.
All this Antonio Brown nonsense started happening after the God's Plan video. Like, how are we so sure the Drake curse don't exist? Like,
oh my goodness,
it's a thing. You saw he posted Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Like, this is
that Drake curse thing. The Raptors they might have nipped that in the bud, man.
Nah, man. But on a serious note, Antonio Brown, I would like to see him get like a
CTE scan,
something. I need him to see someone.
Yeah.
I need him to get help because, bro, what has been going on with him? Like, we was talking about maybe the greatest receiver of all time. Like, he was doing things Jerry Rice was doing. Like,
and he's undersized too. Like, it's not even like he's the biggest dude. Like, he was just mad nice.
And his come up too. Like, he went to a junior college, 7th round pick. He came out of nowhere, became the best wide receiver, and then to throw it away. I can't think of a career meltdown like his.
He probably has the biggest career meltdown I can think of the top of my head.
Like, maybe
that isn't caused by injury.
Maybe
like,
Josh Gordon, because he can't stay off the weed. But
and even then, like Josh Gordon, he led the league in receiving yards 1 year, but after that, like it wasn't really nothing crazy.
Yeah, because he was on the weed.
Yeah, you true. I mean, I feel like he was on the weeds during that.
That's true. Mm-hmm. But Antonio Brown, just a complete meltdown. Like, he cost himself so much money. I remember the Raiders gave him like $30 million, and then the deadline was on like a Tuesday. So if you were a part of this organization on Tuesday, you were guaranteed $29 million. That Friday before that, he goes into the general manager's office, calling him a cracker, like causing a fight. Bro? They kick him off the team, and now you just lost $29 million. All you had to do was stay home and not do nothing to get $29 million.
That's what I'm saying. Now, my thing is, I'm just scared for his pocket because I feel like all these. Remember, he still has the cases out with the whole, sexual misconduct or domestic abuse, whatever the case is that he had, sexual, whatever it was, and then he has other things going on. And then he's spending money making music and all stuff. Like, I just wonder who's watching his pockets, bro. Like,
I'm scared for.
He's losing endorsements at that too. So like,
I'm scared for that man's mental health. Like, both. On a serious note, like that, it's ugly. I don't think he's ever gonna be in the league again.
Yeah,
it's ugly.
He's made a case for himself, right? This past year that like this is nothing any coach or organization should have to deal with.
Ugly.
It doesn't look like it's gonna get any better.
Shout out Mike Tomlin if this was how he was before and like he put up with that, because I just don't know, bro.
Yeah, niggas gonna have to have a bigger conversation. Social media is a drug. Like, It is a drug. Like Antonio Brown cannot stay off that shit because
he's the wrong person to have
a
access
nutcase.
to
Yo, NFL, if you watching this, my boy got the worst case CTE. Like it's bad.
Now I'm not gonna lie, he hasn't been the same since he took that big hit. Remember that?
From Perfect, right?
Yeah, from Perfect, bro.
It's like it legit has been all downhill since then. Like
CTE.
That's a scary thing, son.
And it's scary because football type of injuries, like, it can develop over time. It doesn't have to be at the moment, bro. Like, he could have got that from before, and they just kept developing from before. So, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's a scary thing. I remember LeBron. LeBron grew up playing football, and I remember a couple years ago, he was like, yeah, my kid's not playing football. So I'm scared because we all love this sport. I'm scared that 20 years from now, it won't be as prominent as it is today because a lot of younger kids is not playing a sport like that.
That brings to another topic I wanted to segue into. Sorry to cut it. You know what I'm saying? But Marshawn Lynch had obviously potentially played his last game in his career, more than likely. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
More than likely, you know what I'm saying? But he had some good parting words, which were basically like, it's not his words verbatim, but basically protect your health, protect your money. You know what I'm saying? With that, after that happened, Luke Kuechly retires at like the age, like what, 28, 29? 28. You know what I'm saying? And then before that, you know, Gronk had retired. I don't even think Gronk was 30 yet.
Yeah, he was 29.
And then, you know,
Andrew
Luck retired earlier this
29.
season. Patrick Willis years ago had retired early.
30,
you know what I'm saying?
Like
Who's Calvin
Megatron?
John? Yeah,
30.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that just speaks to your point of just like how 20 years from now we may not be looking at the same NFL football that we once saw. You know
and
what I'm saying?
they not even getting money like that compared to like NBA and MLB players. So if I'm a young athletic kid, or like if I'm the parent of a young athletic kid, I'm like, nah, let's swing a bat. Don't throw a football. Don't kick a swing a bat. Like
and I understand it's 53-man rosters. You know, it's a lot of people, but the NFL, they make a lot of fucking money. These players should be paid way more for the things that they go through, and the fact that, you know, a lot of these players, they don't have that mentality of thinking about what's next. You know, it's just football.
Back to your Marshawn Lynch point. I think it was nice to see him say that because
definitely.
I know he like an old head in this game. A lot of people, a lot of players look up to him, and like when we seen him in the kind of like post game interviews and stuff, he was always like, bullshit. I'm only here so I don't get fined. So it's cool. It's cool for him to say that because I feel like
it's genuine.
These players really need somebody to say that,
and that's good. I think what happened with him, I think he just saw what happens on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Because he was not obviously on a roster earlier this year, so he just kind of took it upon himself to say like, yo, if nobody's gonna say it, I gotta say it, type of thing. So,
and this is like, not to cut you off, but it's like getting so much money like that is so different from how a lot of these guys grew up. Like they grew up in poverty, like they had nothing. So you get some money, you kind of want to spend it on bullshit.
Exactly.
So it was good for him to see. It was good to see him say that.
Yeah, because he comes from that background.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I never even really thought about like what's gonna happen in the NFL 20 years from now until you just brought that up. But it's like there's so much research being done on the effects of being a football player that I don't know.
Yeah, the CTE thing. You saw the Aaron Hernandez thing. Like he was in the league 2 years, and I know he played football obviously before that, but professionally he only played 2 years. For him to have worst case CTE is like. That's crazy.
Tough. Like, so that could have happened to him in middle school.
That's a conversation. That's a conversation parents need to have with, maybe not kids because they don't know any better, but with themselves, like as adults. Like, do we really want our kids to go down this path? Because, that CTE thing is no joke. Head injuries, brain injuries, no joke. Yeah, that's not a joke.
Like maybe it's like maybe they'll think of a way to change the technology with the helmets.
I don't think it's even much more they could really do. Like. I mean, the helmet, because you can't make it too heavy. You can't make it too bulky, you know what I'm saying? And
and it's always, like football, unless you make it two-hand touch, but nobody's going to watch a two-hand touch professional football game. So I feel like the risk is always there. It's just a matter of, like, I don't know who could take it, like who can't, but even then, that's kind of like an inconsiderate way to look at it.
Exactly.
Like, shit, nigga, imagine People don't be talking about rugby players, so we don't really know nothing about
Yeah,
rugby.
that's really like UK shit.
Yeah, but just
Australia
imagine, they be fucking each other
Yeah.
up.
Nah, I've watched the rugby game before. It's physical.
Like it looks intense. Like they throwing all.
Nah,
types
but
of
even like shit like UFC or boxing, like that's repeated head trauma, and like Mike Tyson like a nutcase now. Like
I mean, he's definitely doing better, but there was a time in his life where it was very dark. It was a lot of cocaine and a lot of bad things going on.
Yeah, I think Mike Tyson's in a way better space now than he was 1990, like 8.
But I'm just saying, like repeated head
no, like
trauma
2000,
is,
my fault, like 2000-ish.
Like repeated head trauma is not. I feel like grown men are not built to beat people, like beat each other up.
Sustain punches
like,
to the head repeatedly.
Yeah, that's not. We're not like built to like fight necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like we not fucking gorillas in the jungle.
Yeah,
like, it's not. We shouldn't be doing that.
Just to switch gears. So the Cleveland Browns are one of the teams that fired their head coach, and they needed a new one, just like our G-men. The person that they hired, his name is Kevin Stefanski. He was the Vikings offensive coordinator. How do y'all feel about that?
I think personally that was a good hire. I think more than anything, more than any X's and O's scheming, I think they need a leader. Like I hear all this stuff about getting someone that like commands the room. That like you walk into a room, he gets your attention. Mm-hmm. I think they need. I don't know too much about him. I don't watch too many Minnesota Vikings games. But if he is that leader, that alpha, then I think they in good hands because that's what they need. That's what Baker Mayfield needs.
That's a fact, man. How do you feel about that?
From what I read up on him, I think he comes from the lineage of like the Shanahan, Gary Kubiak kind of lineage. Those guys. So like that's a pretty decent lineage to come from. And I think he had a decently impressive press conference. One of the best lines that stood out from it was because somebody had asked him, how do you deal with the personalities that you have? You got Baker, you got Odell, you got Jarvis. And he was like, personality is welcome, but your productivity is not, I don't know exact words.
Yeah, your productivity is required.
It's required or something like that. Yeah, that's the word he used. And like I was like, all right, that's a good stance to stand on. Like I kind of respect that.
You can be you, but do your thing.
Exactly.
And real quick, I think from an X's and O's standpoint, because they do have talent, like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Like he got Dalvin Cook looking like Emmitt Smith. like they was the number one. They was the number one rushing offense in the league. So if he could bring that mentality, then they ain't good hands
over there.
Nah, yeah, and I like it because like I feel like he's not, especially offensively at least. I feel like he's not changing too much. Like he came from an offense that had Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. You know what I'm saying? To go to Odell, Jarvis. That's not. That's anything. It might be a slight upgrade. You know what I'm saying? So if he can do that, and then he has Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. You know what I'm saying? He had Dalvin Cook, and I don't know their backup, but you know what I'm saying? If you can do the similar things with that squad that he did with this squad, then they should be a decently successful squad. Like they had Kirk Cousins. It wasn't like they had like the greatest quarterback of all time. Like you can do something with Baker Mayfield if you can do something with Kirk Cousins.
Hopefully next year they just don't bash people over the head with helmets.
Right.
I think that's the move.
But I still don't think Myles Garrett was wrong. But that's another
this man is
topic.
sick. Bro.
Yeah,
it's another topic. It's another topic.
We
don't have the time to discuss this.
I just want to say one day I do want to come back and discuss that because
we can do that anytime, just not now.
I just want to give a shout out to Richard Sherman. The man bet on himself when he signed with the 49ers. There was a lot of incentives involved. There were people saying that he was crazy for not having his own man. Like he was his own manager. And he, essentially, again, he betted on himself because he was coming back from a torn
Achilles.
It was something in the torn. I think it was Achilles. Is either Achilles
I'm
or
pretty sure it was Achilles
or ACL. One of the A's.
But all of his money is fully guaranteed now. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to give a shout out to him.
It was an Achilles.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't believe in my man.
That's he not a dumb guy. He went to Stanford.
That's what people keep mistaken. Like he's not a dumb dude. Like he's from Compton, bro, and he went to Stanford.
He went to Stanford. He graduated with Andrew Luck in them. Like, and you know that they call him like the second coming of Peyton Manning. So,
like
Richard Sherman got to be smart.
Nah, but yeah, shout out to Richard Sherman though, because one. Like incentives when it comes to like playing corner, because playing corner is such a tough position, bro. Like super tough. You know what I'm saying? So, and Richard Sherman's not the fastest dude in the world.
He's smart as shit.
But he's smart and he studies his game. He studies the film. You know what I'm saying? He knows receivers' tendencies. And like a lot people don't talk about Richard Sherman a lot sometimes because he's really locking down that receiver. Like there's not a lot of targets going over Richard Sherman's way, bro.
And Kirk Cousins, not to cut you off, but he was like one of the game plans is not to throw it his way. And one time he did throw it his way, it was motherfucking pick.
I think since 2011, the QBR, like the quarterback's QBR when targeted him is like 39.
Yeah, and I think
out of 100,
some of the most picks when thrown in his direction.
Since 2011, I think it's like 38. He leads the league.
Yeah,
so.
And he might fuck around and get 2 championships this year.
Quarterbacks don't throw to him.
And
that's a word of advice.
So one more thing that I want to mention, my son Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, he's gonna be trying out for the XFL as a kicker.
I've seen him kick.
He can kick.
He kicked. He was on a Bleacher Report. He kicked like a 60-yarder.
He did.
Yeah, he loves soccer.
My boy.
He did that without a cleat on his plant foot.
And the XFL actually had tweeted something that 85 is greater than 84, kind of throwing shots at Antonio Brown. So that was cool to see too.
I hope the XFL is successful, man. I hope he makes
I feel like why are none of the other football ventures ever successful?
I don't know. Vince McMahon, he putting a lot of money in this, so we're gonna see.
Yeah, and I don't think the Canadian Football League make that much bread, so
true.
It'll be good to see another football league for sure.
All right, man. Well, Efrain, we want to thank you for joining us.
I want to thank y'all for having me.
I really appreciate it.
Like anytime you want to come back, bro, just let us know, bro.
The man literally lives very close to here.
Yeah, I live a block away, but don't disclose the location.
Yeah, we're not gonna give out locations.
Yeah,
but this was another episode of Not Gonna Lie.
Yeah, see y'all next week.